Robin Yeast of Calgary, you could win groceries for a year if the kickoffs return for a touchdown in this game today, thanks to Safeway Sobeys $1 Million Touchdown to Win promotion. And if a second kickoff's returned all the way in this one, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Robin. 7 months later, they meet again. Upstairs to Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Rod. It has a ring to it. They were lined up at 3 o'clock this afternoon to get their replica Grey Cup rings for the Grey Cup rematch and Argo home opener. It's the Stampeders and Argonauts on a Saturday night at BMO.
Start number 70 for Bo Levi Mitchell. He's won 57 of those games and has an incredible 8-0 record against the Toronto Argonauts. He's up against Ricky Ray, so if he's playing Ray, that means Ray hasn't fared as well in the regular season. Ray, in his last 6, has not found a way to beat Calgary unless it's a Grey Cup championship. He's 2-0 against the Stamps here.
Mark Trestman's Argonauts got off to a sluggish start offensively in 2018, losing their opener 8 days ago in Saskatchewan. He has 48 players returning from last year's Grey Cup championship team. Dave Dickinson Stamps beat Hamilton 28-14 in their opener. They've been better than 500 on the road for the last 8 years. They've beaten the Argos 8 consecutive games in the regular season and won their last 5 straight here in Toronto.
Calgary Stampeders will start with the ball. You heard the panel talk about Bo Levi Mitchell. An off week in week 1 against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but still a win.
Running backs are deep for the Stampeders. Don Jackson, along with Terry Williams. Ronnie Pepper with the boot, and it will be Williams from his 6. And up to the 30-yard line to set things up for Bo Levi Mitchell. Just the 3rd time in his career he was sub 50% completions, but in all 3 games he has won, and there are his numbers last week against the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, when you look at 17 of 36, just not Bo Levi Mitchell type numbers, but again, found a way to win. Incredible 57, 10, and 2 record in this, his 7th season in the Canadian Football League.
70th career game start for Mitchell. Won't have Mark and Michelle in the lineup. First play looking downfield, and now swings it to the sideline. Big hit there. What a pop from Akeem Jordan as the catch made by the fullback, William Longley.
Well, Akeem Jordan's getting his first start at middle linebacker this year, and he flies over there to the football on this she'll check down pass to the outside, and look out. Marcus Ball with the assist on the tackle, but a good hit to set the tone for the Argo defense.
5 for Longley, 2nd and 5, short drop, quick hitter, and a first down catch for Eric Rogers, cut down by Alden Darby as we set the Calgary offense for you.
Take a look at that Calgary offense. There's Eric Rogers. He's going to play tonight for Mark and Michelle, who's out of the lineup, started in week 1. Rogers played a little bit, but he'll start in that position in this one tonight. There's your Cumbre Williams. Big game, and especially in the run game for blocking for Don Jackson in week 1 up front. He's also the guy that's calling the stunts and blitzes up front for his O-line.
First down at the 40, couple of backs in the backfield. It's swung out here to Kamar Jordan, and he is tripped up, but scrambles up close to the 50, near another first down.
Sean Lemon playing against his old team, had a sack in week 1 and a forced fumble. He'll lead that front 4. It's a good front 4 with Justin Tuggle, the other bookend. There's a straw that stirs the drink on that defense. That's Marcus Ball in the linebacking court. Again, Akeem Jordan starting for the first time, and Abdul Kana will start at halfback for Quadra 4.
First down handoff, and here is Jackson, 2nd level. And Jackson with another good carry, 12 for 87 last week, leading rusher in week 1. 77 of those yards came in the 4th quarter, including a 44-yard touchdown run.
Good run blocking up front. You got Derek Dennis, left tackle. Shane Bergman, down blocks there. got a pull, and Brad Erdahl's coming around the corner. And Don Jackson, who had 77 of his over 80 yards in the fourth quarter in week 1.
16 on that carry. Down to the Argo 44. And straight ahead for Jackson again. This time controlled at around the 41 for a gain of 3.
Good first drive going here for Bo Levi Mitchell. Just incredible that he's starting his 7th season and has not lost to either the Hamilton Tiger Cats in his career or the Toronto Argonauts. A perfect 8-0 record. And what's amazing about this is that touchdown to interception ratio, 20-3. Doesn't get any better than that.
10-0 against Hamilton, 8-0 against Toronto. In regular season action, looking at 2nd and 6, they were 45.5%. On second down conversions, another open target, and the catch is made by Juwan Brescison, who was the story, at least in social media last week, with the catch of week 1.
Well, it was that Odell Beckham Jr. type catch. Just amazing one-hander in week 1. That blew up Twitter when they saw this catch right here.
And a kid playing in his backyard today, a Mississauga product. First down, Stamps look sharp. Reggie Beckleton gets taken down. Good defensive play by one of the Grey Cup heroes, Cassius Vaughn.
Nice close and read. That's Cassius Vaughn doing his video study on the Calgary offense, because he reacted to that play before it left the hand of Bo Levi Mitchell.
You know, the one question we didn't really address last week, Suits, Calgary's got so many weapons, but who is the security blanket without Markway McDaniel? That's something that probably will evolve for Dave Dickinson's offense this year.
Maybe Eric Rogers.
2nd and long. Got some time over the middle. And the catch is not made. Brescison cannot reel it in. And the Calgary drive that looked promising has stalled.
Well, Brescison pointed to himself, and I was about to say just what he did by his gesture, is that the difference between the start for Bo Levi Mitchell tonight and the start last week against Hamilton was that he is on. He is accurate, was on that drive. He had to throw it to that hole because of the way the defense played and expected Brescison to get there. He didn't.
So both 5 for 6 in the opening drive, 5 different targets. And Rennie Paredes, who was 4 for 4 last week, hits his longest so far this year from 42 yards out. And Calgary's on the board. Just over 5 minutes in. Stamps by a field goal. Ricky Ray and the Argos offense coming up when we return. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, the official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. So the Argos will scrimmage at their own 35-yard line, just 4 first-half points last week at Mosaic. Looking for a better start. Ricky Ray, aggressive. Trying to hit down the sidelines for Brian Timms, incomplete.
Take a look at the starting offense for the Toronto Argonauts. Of course, Ricky Ray, 233 yards passing. His #1 target was S.J. Green, in fact, the most targeted receiver in the CFL in week 1. And William Campbell under pressure again at left tackle against Cordero Law, and Jagarrett Davis back in the lineup for Calgary.
Only 265 net yards last week. And Ray in trouble, and he is dropped early. Pressure from Cordero Law. Derek Wiggin was there, and it's a quick 2 and out for the Argos on offense.
Well, it's going to be either William Campbell or Chris Van Zyl that is going to get the pressure. Those tackles against the Calgary Stampeders, whoever's playing tackle is going to be in that tough one-on-one matchup against these 2 premier rush ends. Cordero Law gets it.
Law missed all of last year, broken ankle in preseason. Jerry Williams on the return. He gets drilled by the long snapper Reinhardt, the 52-yard punt. and 10 on the return. Well, there was pressure on Ray throughout last week's game, and Calgary gets to the Argo veteran early here tonight. Two for 20 tonight already, and Don Jackson caught our eye last week, and this was the big run to clinch things against the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, I mentioned the 77 yards in the fourth quarter when Ticats needed the ball back to try and make their comeback. That's when Don Jackson took control of the game.
Here's Mitchell looking for Reggie. Bangleton stretches out and makes a terrific catch at the Argo 40 as he was working against Cassius Vaughn.
Last week, Bo Levi Mitchell attempted 13 passes of 20 yards or more, so the deep ball was attempted 13 times. He completed just 3. He was having, as Matt Dunnigan mentioned, an off day. He still won, but he is on. Again, look at the coverage by Cassius Vaughn. He had to put it outside and hope his receiver could get there. Bangleton got there.
Yeah, that 23% on passes over 20 yards, the lowest of any quarterback in the opening week, but he's got this one to Tavares Daniels, touchdown. The Notre Dame product hits the end zone, and just like that, Calgary has a 2-score lead.
His accuracy is there tonight. Hamilton couldn't take advantage last week of an off night for Bo Levi Mitchell. And now it looks like Ricky Ray is going to have to score with them because he has been bang on. A little pressure off the edge, too, and he felt that pressure, but he put it between the 8 and the 9.
Got inside TJ Heath. And it's a 40-yard touchdown for Bo Levi Mitchell and the Stampeders.
Lay off the center's head. Kangaroo on deck.
Convert added by Paredes. And midway through this opening quarter, it's 10-0 for the Stampeders. Tavares Daniels quiet in the opener. 2 catches, 20 yards, but a big touchdown here. The first of the game for Calgary.
Textbook route running by Tavares Daniels right here on TJ Heath, and he uses the stem to turn the hips of Heath. Watch the stem move right there. Outside stem, opens up the hips, and now Heath has to try and do a turn, a speed turn inside to get back into position. As soon as he loses inside leverage, Tavares Daniels makes it an easy throw for Bo Levi Mitchell. Great route running from 89.
I don't know who you thought I was.
Didn't take long, 2 plays, 70 yards. In a minute 12, and the Argos in a hole in their home opener. Martez Jackson up across the 35 and still going. Extra yards after contact to the 49-yard line to try and kickstart the Argos.
Well, he never got tackled. He just ran out of room. Broken tackle there. Broke another one in the pile, another one there. That's the 3rd. Great balance. And then again, broke that one, just ran out of space, ran out of real estate.
Mentioned just 265 for the Argos net offense last week. Only once last year were they held to fewer, and that was against Calgary. James Wilder Jr. and Alex Singleton. So the Rookie of the Year meets the Defensive Player of the Year in the hole. And give Singleton the edge on that one.
Well, let's just keep track of this tonight, because that's a premier linebacker in the middle against Rookie of the Year, James Wilder Jr. And I got 1-0 Alex Singleton, because that's playing run defense.
Singleton with 8 tackles last week. 2nd and 7. Wilder out of the backfield and unable to hang on with Singleton in coverage.
Boy, he had outside leverage too. He hangs on to that one. It might have been 1-1. James Wilder might have got one there because he catches that ball and continues to the sideline. He had outside leverage. See, Alex Singleton's in a chase position. He could turn the corner there. Now that makes it a very difficult tackle for Singleton trying to catch up, but he dropped it.
11 straight kicks to start the game for the Argos last week, including 8 2-and-outs, and that one is out of bounds. They're going to rule it at the 18-yard line, so no return on the play.
Well, it doesn't seem to matter who's in charge with the Calgary Stampeders. John Hufnagel back to Wally Buono in the early days. They find running backs, don't they? I mean, you go back to Calvin Anderson, great Joffrey Reynolds, and John Cornish, of course, Canadian, Jerome Messam.
I think we have to give Matt Dunnigan credit for
absolutely.
Joffrey Reynolds.
Joffrey Reynolds was a Matt Dunnigan find when he was coaching GM. John Hufnagel with the John Cornish years.
But it's been a key ingredient for Calgary's over the many years of success. Right back inside.
I saw a good article about Don Jackson when he was in his draft year.
Terry Williams on that carry, and he will spot for Jackson at times.
Yeah, absolutely. They did again in week 1. But I saw one with Don Jackson, and he said in this interview with one of the scouts from the NFL, he said, if I were to describe my own running style, it'd be that I run angry, but I also run smart. Angry and smart, quite the combination.
Williams 7 for 33 last week. Begelton on the slant, and Reggie Begelton's got another Calgary first down. This is a different looking offense than we saw against Hamilton last week.
Well, just, you know, pick your poison. It's tough to double team. I mean, who do you double team? Begelton, a couple good catches last week. Prescott with that great one-hander. Tavares Daniels, we've already seen his touchdown catch, and Eric Rogers right around the corner.
And Bo Levi Mitchell 8 for 9 and a drop here so far. A touchdown pass, and it again is Terry Williams with a good run up around the 49-yard line, close to 9 for Williams. Williams was the favorite in this head-to-head competition for the starting running back job going into camp. Didn't do anything wrong, but Jackson just did a lot of things a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like game plan-wise, Dave Dickinson is attacking the defensive left side if you're looking at it from Calgary's perspective.
2nd and 1, and that's Nick Arbuckle in short yardage. Of course, Andrew Buckley has retired, headed to med school. We wish him well. And Arbuckle handles short yardage here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, it just seems to me, Chris, that Dave Dickinson right now, if he's going to run the ball, it's been to that left side. Derek Dennis is playing against Sean Lemon, so a matchup that we can watch closely here. Sean Lemon is a premier pass rusher, already has a sack in this one tonight. But clearly the strategy for Dickinson is go ahead and run at him and make him a run stop.
First down, they swing it to the far side, and Lamar Jordan's got it. And crosses midfield back into Argo territory.
With both these quarterbacks so poised, all in their plays, in and out of the huddle.
New defensive coordinator Mike Archer scheming against Calgary for the first time. 2nd and 5, back in the hands of Williams, and he'll be stopped short at the 50. He's a couple of yards shy of the first down, as that was plucked up by big Ken Bishop in the rotation at defensive tackle.
Yeah, Dickinson is running the ball consistently early in this game, and I'm not surprised. I mean, go ahead and test Akeem Jordan at middle linebacker in his first start. Still no Bear Woods. He's still out due to injury. He's the leader in that defense, not available at this point. And if you got a new middle linebacker, test him.
Rob Maver to punt, led the league in hitting inside the 10, and he does just that again, second time this year. That's Rob Maver's specialty, and it backs the Argos up. A 46-yard punt into the corner. Well, James Wilder exploded onto the scene last year Argos are going to need production from him. We'll have more on Wilder when we return. James Wilder Jr., a huge part of the Argos' surge to the Cup last year, part of a winning family tradition. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
In Florida, James Wilder Sr.'s house, there's a room, and in this room, there's a sculpted hand, and on that hand are all the rings that James Wilder Jr., his brother, and his sister have won in football. But that hand and that sculpture really doesn't signify accomplishment. It shows what it takes to be great and stay great. And obviously we heard last year, James Wilder Sr.'s advice to his son is always be consistent. And they're trying to hold James Wilder Jr. to account. There's a group family chat that everyone has on their phone, and they were watching keenly last week, and James Wilder Jr. told us before the game that his family went ahead and said, listen, never get tackled before the one. It happened to James Wilder Jr. last year in Regina, and he said, I know I have to be better. My family is going to keep me that way, guys.
Well, they're going to have to lean on him. They start deep, a little slip in the end zone by Ray, but he's able to flare it out there, and a catch for Jimmy Ralph, who had a couple last week in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, just a little bit of a slip here for Ray, but he was able to regroup and get it out there.
Different turf in the end zone than
67! 67!
within the goal lines. Ray shakes his head after a pickup of about 8.5.
That's about as much emotion
as
you'll see from Ricky Ray from play to play.
Looking for their opening first down on 2nd and 2, and here's Wilder. And a little second effort there, but going to be 3rd down, and a decision deep in the Argo territory.
Very, very close. Let's see if it's close enough to get a measurement. Looks like Mark Trestman sending out his punt team.
Yeah, they're at least a yard, need to get to the 15. And
see, and Trestman, the coaches can't ask for the measurement. That's the judgment of the officials. They'll just take a look, and if it's within a yard, they'll measure it. If not, they're not going to.
Ronnie Pfeffer the boot. Terry Williams at the Calgary 45. Up across midfield. And lunging to the Toronto 45-yard line. Well, they had to come back last year and use big plays, one on defense, to do just that. But the Argos right now are down by 10, and Calgary's got terrific field position. And Matt Black, again, one of the defensive stars who made the final big interception off Bo Levi Mitchell's been shaken up on that cover team.
Well, the Grey Cup last year certainly delivered. These two teams put on a show. Calgary Stampeders with a couple of miscues that really cost them. Longest fumble return for a touchdown by Cassius Vaughn in Grey Cup history.
49 seconds ago, a Hairolahu field goal, but Bo Levi Mitchell made things interesting until that interception snuffed out the drive, and Matt Black had a souvenir for his life, and hopefully that injury is not too serious.
10 years in the Canadian Football League, all with the Toronto Argonauts for Matt Black. One of those unsung heroes who was a hero and in the paper after the Grey Cup last year.
One of the leaders, couple of cups, was on the 2012 team as well.
Take a look at the injury. You'll see what happened to him. He's up there engaged, getting blocked, trying to fight it off, and another Calgary Stampeder rolls on that right leg.
Like Singleton might have been pushed into his legs. But Calgary starts in the Argo 45-yard line, already up by 10. And Mitchell has another open target. Tavares Daniels with another catch. He had 11 in the Grey Cup game for 113. Had a 2-point convert in the game, and the Notre Dame star continuing that hot hand here tonight.
Well, he works off Eric Rogers, so they work in tandem. Rogers with the deeper route down the field. That pulls some secondary coverage with him, and then Tavares Daniels breaks on the out underneath it.
Rookie of the year in 2016. Registered his 100th career catch last week against the Ticats. First down. And it's in the hands of Longley, and he is, or excuse me, Terry Williams, and flags come down on what would have been the final play of the quarter.
Not sure what the penalty was.
Calgary's getting the options.
It came late. Abdul Kana made the first contact and was sort of pulling him back. I didn't see a penalty on that tackle. Must have been.
Major foul, head tackle, Toronto number 29. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the helmet tackle from Kenna.
Well, that one didn't look like live that there was a problem here. He steps into this. There's no head tackle there. Is pulling him back, 29.
Then looked like he may have got part of the face mask.
Unless he grabbed the face mask, but then it would be called face mask, not a head tackle. I didn't see a problem with that tackle.
So into the red zone where the Stamps were 1 for 6 last week. Mitchell scrambling, fumbling, and the Argos have the football. It's taken away, and it's Ronnie Yell in a foot race. He's going to get caught down at the 20-yard line, but like last year's Grey Cup, it's another big play for the defense when it looked like Calgary was going to score.
That got the crowd and BMO up on their feet. What a play by Ronnie Yell, former BC Lion.
And a fumble recovery last week in Saskatchewan. A bigger one here. Ball pops loose, and Ronnie Yell off to the races for the Argos. Dominant opening quarter for the Calgary Stampeders, yet the final play may change the momentum of this game. Argos were looking to be better early on offense. That wasn't the case.
No, they're not, and not able to get James Wilder Jr. going in the run game either. Not one first down for Ricky Ray. A lot of numbers on the left side of that column and not many on the right. So maybe this fumble return by Ronnie Yell will turn things around.
But until that fumble, an impressive opening 15 minutes for Bo Levi Mitchell, who was on target. 77 yards on the return.
It was Beltre from the backside that strips him.
Former Stampeder.
And Kamar Jordan did not give up on the play. He's going to make Ricky Ray put it in the end zone.
So just like that, Argos in the red zone. James Wilder Jr. Not much. Alex Singleton's slamming the door in his face so far.
Well, he's getting help up front because the D-line are right now eating up the blocks up front. Look at these guys up front. And there's Singleton, number 49. But if your D-line can eat up the blocks, your linebackers just sit there and he just scrapes to the ball now. Finds his hole, scrapes to the ball, makes the tackle.
James Wilder, 3 for 6, just 16 yards on 5 carries last week. Waggles out of the backfield, 4 receivers near side, slinging it to Martese Jackson, and he is nailed at the 13-yard line. Ciante Evans steps up and stops Jackson short of a first down. And
well, for young football players watching, Ronnie Yell scoops up that fumble, and it looked like he was gone for the touchdown. Kamar Jordan did not quit on the play. He put on the afterburners, caught him, and instead of a major, the Argos trying a field goal.
So here's Peffer from 20 yards. A problem here. Jimmy Ralph scrambling, trying to make something of it. Ball is on the turf, and Calgary's got it. So a mishandled snap by Jimmy Ralph. And the Argos come away without any points.
Just remember this play, and remember Kamar Jordan hustling to catch Ronnie Yell from behind on the fumble recovery. A field goal attempt, botch snap. The Argos come away with no points. Had Kamar Jordan decided to gear it down on that play, it's 6 points at least for the Argos.
Forced fumble by Ciante Evans. Essa Marabere ends up with the football. And Calgary takes over at their 24-yard line.
Keep hustling.
Draw play. And Jackson up to the 30-yard line, gets 6. Let's head back to the sidelines. Here's Matthew.
CC, Matt Black is done for the night. He just indicated to special teams coordinator Kevin Ivan that he can't go, and he has ice in his right knee. That's something to watch out for in that battle between James Wilder Jr. and Alex Singleton. Singleton has been getting work on his right hip on the Stamp sidelines, guys.
So the Argos lose their backup safety in Matt Black. Darius Ford injured last week. Second down, Mitchell downfield. Rogers brings it down. There's the guy who led the league in 2015 in receiving, Eric Rogers.
Well, that's what I remember about Eric Rogers, his ability to high point the ball, use his body to his advantage to block out the defender. Again, pretty good coverage here. I believe it was TJ Heath that was right in his hip pocket, but it was the outside hip. And you could see high points it, secures it, never touches the turf.
39 yards. That pass out of the reach of the intended target, Jordan. But just the second incompletion toss by Mitchell. Now 12 of 14.
Boy, defensively, it's when he's throwing in rhythm like that, it's so difficult to get pressure on him. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Argos maybe go to some 3-man pressure and just try to get more guys in coverage.
Last year, his quarterback rating against the Argos, 120.6, best against any team. Second and 10, has another strike, has another first down. Tavares Daniels is tossed down by Alden Darby.
The other thing that the Argos may be able to do to try and disrupt the rhythm is, rather than have Alden Darby play off and cushion like that as a defensive back, might have to get up and play press coverage. Now, you know, again, pick your poison. You play press coverage on Tavares Daniels, Kamar Jordan, watch out. They're going to try and get in behind you.
Daniels, 3 catches, 65 yards and a touchdown already. First down just outside the 30. It's Jackson shifting gears left side, following the blocks. And close to another first down.
See, for Jackson, Chris, that looked like a smart run. He likes the two. I want to run angry, and I want to run smart. And that one was a smart run. Ran from the shoulders up here because he's coming from right to left in your screen this way. And watch him use his just patience. Little stutter step there, patience, let his block set up, let the receivers get their men.
Dylan in the tackle. How about the pulling center, Capre Williams? Clearing a path for 8, 2nd and 2. About a yard and a half, so Arbuckle is in. And Arbuckle follows in behind Shane Bergman, the 6-year veteran left guard, and that offensive line is plowing big holes right now.
Shane Bergman, Derek Dennis, I pointed him out a few times already. It's that left side.
13th first down.
Derek Dennis was 6 yards down the field in that short yardage play, driving his man.
Argos without a first down, and Calgary with the football. Back in the red zone. 1 for 7 on the year. Into the end zone, Eric Rogers, touchdown! Eric Rogers up against Abdul Ketup, and Calgary extends the lead.
You said it off the top, that completion percentage last week for Bo Levi Mitchell. You knew he wasn't going to have that kind of night again, that he was going to get that passing arm calibrated, get that accuracy back, and boy, has he been on tonight. That ball was thrown exactly where he wanted to put it. Outside shoulder with inside leverage on the coverage. And let Eric Rogers make the adjustment.
Looks like the Argos are going to challenge. You saw Kenna gesture as if there was a push-off on the play, and Mark Trestman's going to take a look at that.
Well, last week he had a chance on a Nick Marshall interception return.
Toronto is challenging that there was offensive pass interference on the play. We'll review the play.
He didn't challenge there. He's quick to challenge tonight.
The play under review. This is what they're looking at. Was it before that or not? We'll have the verdict when we come back.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Not much doubt about
Toronto will
that.
be charged with timeout.
Play stands, and the Stampeders now a convert away from a 17-point lead.
Yeah, I sense it was a challenge that Mark Trestman felt was important to give a shot to. Just subtle push, but there's no chance that that was offensive pass interference. Correct call was made on the field, and that stands. Touchdown Calgary. I think Mark Trestman just sensed that momentum again. Yep. Right back with the Calgary Stampeders and took a shot at it.
That 7 plays, 86 yards. Oh, Levi Mitchell with a hot hand. Already 200 yards passing. And he said with the return of Eric Rogers, this was the best receiving corps.
Hustling down, Phil make that tackle and I fumble. They tried a little fake field goal, it didn't work. And we turned it into 6 points. That's how we do it. Go Stamps.
Well, analysis.
Yeah, that's not a bad job. I'll give him my Telestrator pen. Well, let's take a look at the route from Eric Rogers. He comes out wide out, so Abdul Kana takes him. And again, it's pretty good coverage. He comes out from the halfback spot because he's not playing corner here tonight, but he's on the outside, and again, he's in that hip. Just sizing him up with the left hand was Eric Rogers. He adjusted to the football in flight. Comes down with a nice catch.
Well, it's been all Calgary. Argos had a chance to get in it after the Ronnie Yell fumble recovery, but they come away empty-handed, and Mitchell drives right back down the field with authority. And he's answered my question. He doesn't need one security blanket. He's got 4 or 5.
He's got a few targets, doesn't he?
Martese Jackson. Up across the 30-yard line.
Skyscraper, starring Dwayne Johnson, in theaters July 13th.
Is the former Stampeder.
Yeah. Coached by Wally Buono. Well, it's getting urgent now for the Argo offense.
There's got to be some alarm bells going off.
Absolutely.
This unusual for a Ricky Ray offense, unusual for a Mark Trestman offense. Midway through the second quarter, still looking for their initial first down. Little time, but nobody open. Rolling, Wilder. Malik Harris on the scene, and James Wilder at the 40-yard line has 7.
To me, that's the key, and I'm not sure how the Argos are going to try and find a way to do it. James Wilder Jr. has got to get involved in this offense. Wasn't last week, really. Had just 5 carries for 16 yards. He made 4 catches for 68, but we're used to seeing almost double that in touch department for James Wilder Jr. You know, when he's run the ball here tonight, Alex Singleton has been right there to stop him.
Last year, 8.1 yards per touch for James Wilder. Second and short. Jimmy Ralph has the catch. And there's the initial first down, and it was nearly intercepted. Adam Berger.
Yeah, we didn't get to this. Jamar Wall was injured in week 1, not available, and Berger is taking over for him, the backup safety to Tunde Adeleke. Now, Berger has got a couple of starts in his career at the safety position. Been an outstanding special teams player for the Calgary Stampeders. Last year for Ottawa for 1 year. Boy, almost had one there.
Like that ball was tipped. Ralph hung on for the initial first down. And another completion here. S.J. Green has his first catch. 5 for 51 in the season opener in Saskatchewan.
That was a late ad, by the way, to get Adam Berger in there to start at that strong side linebacker position. It's really the cover position, so he'll take that 3 receiver out if Calgary goes to a man look, a man-to-man defense look, which could create a matchup with the backup safety in Berger against S.J. Green.
Just the 3rd career start to first at that Sam linebacker spot. 5 receivers set. Wilder stayed in, and on second down, catch is made. Malcolm Williams has his first grab of the season, and he gets a good spot for a first down.
Well, he ran a good route. I mean, he ran just past the stick and then came back just enough to make the catch, but he knew exactly where he was on the field to make sure he had first down territory and then got thrown back.
Working against that rookie corner, Trey Roberson. Williams in his 3rd year, but former junior player with the Langley Rams, a Maple Ridge, BC product. And now it's flipped out to the fullback. Here's Declan Cross, and he has close to 9. Brought down on the play by the weak side linebacker, Jameer Thurman.
The best drive of the night for the Argos has gone to the short side of the field pretty much every play. Working that short side, Declan Cross sitting right here almost at the tight end spot. Looks like he's going to block, then releases late.
And now James Wilder Jr. That's the guy who lit it up last year.
There he goes.
13 yards.
You know, he won't be a surprise to anyone anymore. They've got a lot of video on him, but this is what we're used to seeing. We'll break tackles, low pad level, good feet, good acceleration.
Another first down, Ray over the middle, and that is caught in traffic. Brian Timms has his first grab, and the Argos have a little traction.
Maybe getting a little mojo back, too.
So Ricky Ray on the night, 8 for 10, 5 for 5 on the drive. As they start to put first downs together. Again, 4 points last week in the opening half against Saskatchewan. Dug themselves too big a hole. Out of his hands quickly again, and that's another first down. As GWJ steps out of bounds past the first down stick.
Boy, it's a dual threat. Catch the ball on that out real well. I mean, Ricky Ray knows that the coverage is coming from inside out from Jameer Thurman, and he's got a ways to go from that inside linebacker spot, so he leads his tail back to the sideline.
The second trip to the red zone came away empty-handed the first time. 3 receivers to the near side. Now they all waggle to the wide side of the field. Ray looking that way, and now just swings it out too high for the intended target, Jackson. So 2nd and 10. And Jackson back to the sidelines.
Run the 16-yard line, okay? They can make the first down.
Look at Brandon Smith, the veteran who came up with the clinching interception last week against the Tiger Cats. From the same school as Ricky Ray, Sacramento State. 2nd and 10. Ray in trouble. Micah Johnson tosses him down. The all-CFL defensive tackle has his first sack of 2018.
He sticks with it. Jaguar Davis gets the assist to turn Ray back into him.
28th career sack for the dominant defensive tackle. So a 28-yard field goal attempt. And that one is missed. And the Argos get one. Ronnie Peffer misses from 28. So 2 trips to the red zone and 1 point for Toronto. Thursday Night Football presented by The Brick continues next week. It's the Red Blacks taking on these Stampeders. Action gets underway 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific across the TSN network. The Red Blacks looking very impressive in their season opener on Thursday night against Saskatchewan. Been a lopsided week of scores so far. Argos hope that trend does not continue tonight, but they're down by 16. Dropped off here for Don Jackson, and he gets helicoptered on the play. Good solid hit defensively made there on the play by Ronnie Yell. But so far, all Calgary and a couple of missed Argo opportunities.
Under 3 minutes to halftime, Rod and the panel getting set to talk about what the Stamps are doing right, what the Argos are doing wrong, and CC Suits. Could we be hearing about a comeback by that man over there, 85? We're going to see him run. He's still got some wheels.
Who's got him on the neg list? Stiegel and T.O. in 2018. Here's Jackson again, twisting and turning for a first down, and gets up a little angry.
Yeah, I would call that the angry side.
He reminds me a little bit of John Avery.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Same body type, guy with breakaway speed.
Different sort of demeanor, especially on this run where he gets up and he's feisty like that. John Avery was smooth. Again, a guy could catch out of the backfield.
Up at the 52, they fake it to Avery. Look out! And Kamar Jordan reeled it back in. Little juggling act. And he ends up with 3. So Mitchell improving his game to 16 of 18. We mentioned just 3 times in his career sub 50% in a game. Wins in all 3 of those.
Times, and remember, this is start 70, and what is he at now? He's close to 90%, right?
Yeah, 89% at the moment, so he's back on target, isn't he? 2nd and 7, draw play, Jackson, first down into Argo territory at the 46.
But you got to give some credit here too to the game plan against this Argo defense, and Dave Dickinson's play calling right now, keeping first his quarterback and Levi Mitchell in that great rhythm, throwing the football, but just mixing in enough of Don Jackson or Terry Williams in the run game to keep the Argos defense honest.
And slings another completion. It's Breskison down inside the 15-yard line for Jawan Breskison. 32-yard play, back in the red zone.
You got the run game established. Play action will freeze the linebackers. Freeze the linebackers right there and throw right in behind them.
241 yards passing, 78 on the ground. And right now it's a stampede here at BMO. First down at the 15. And this play doesn't get off. Time count against Calgary.
Time count violation. Calgary number 19. Penalty will be loss of down. It'll be 2nd down.
Inside of 3 minutes, loss of down. So 2nd and 10.
417 net yards last week.
Last week, their issue, the Calgary Stampeders, even though they won, was red zone production. In fact, you could go back to last year and say that was something they could improve on, red zone production. 1 for 2 coming in.
Right, last year. 1 for 6 in the opener. In trouble here, but spins away. And Mitchell hits the deck at the 11. He'll be short of the first down, but showing you that he is a little quicker and more elusive this season.
That dropped some weight. He trained hard to work on his footwork, not only to throw the ball more accurately and with that zip we're used to seeing, but also if he has to do this, that's a good spin move in to break outside like that.
Ran for 12 yards on a play last week and got a huge cheer from the crowd that he tongue-in-cheek said was almost insulting that it got such a reaction because the year before just 3 carries, 17 yards all season long. So another chip shot for Paredes. He puts that through, and it's a 19-point Calgary lead here with under a half minute to go in a first half dominated by the visitors. 2018 FIFA World Cup keeps rolling tomorrow. 3 group stage matches. England takes on Panama, Japan against Senegal, and Poland versus Colombia. Coverage begins 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, TSN 4 and 5 in on CTV. Spain represented here, and the German fans probably celebrating after they pulled one out today in dramatic fashion. Martese Jackson, late stages first half, looking for a big return, but Jameer Thurman has other ideas.
Last week, the Argos didn't really get going offensively until about halfway through the third quarter. I think the good news for Argo fans is that last drive by Ricky Ray, that he did get it down. They missed the field goal, but got it down inside the red zone. A couple of good things happened for Mark Trestman's crew. I'm sure they'll build on that at halftime. One was James Wilder Jr. finally got involved in the offense, made some big plays in that last drive.
4 first downs so far for the Argonauts. 57 net yards. From the 30, James Wilder Jr. has 8.
Also Matthew Shinetti telling us from the sideline that they were looking at the hip of Alex Singleton, so we'll watch him again. He's played every defensive series and is out there again for this last one of the half, and I don't see him really favoring it.
Second down, Ray dumps it off. Ralph's got the first down, short yardage, and zeros on the clock. The end of the opening half, a dominant performance by the Stampeders. Argos squander a couple of chances and trail 20-1 at halftime. Welcome back to Toronto, BMO Field, 20-1. The Calgary Stampeders have the lead, getting set for the second half. But first, Matthew Shinetti's on the sidelines with Ricky Ray.
Ricky, the overall assessment at halftime, obviously there were some opportunities. You got the offense rolling, but no points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, we just gotta calm down, relax, and come out and just play hard. And you know, the first half we just didn't get things going very good. And you know, we just talked about calming down, focusing on what we got to do, and come out here and just play hard in the second half.
So how key is that first series then?
Yeah, I mean, every series is going to be important here in the second half.
Thanks, Ricky.
Thank you.
Well, 19-point deficit. A game somewhat reminiscent to the first game ever at BMO. Expectations high, new stadium. Ticats come in and roll to an easy victory. Mark Trestman has 30 minutes to change that script.
And that's why Ricky Ray said not just the first series, and they'll get the ball back first here. Offense on the field first, but every series important now for both offense and defense.
70 net yards for Toronto. They get the ball first as Paredes gets set to kick it off. Jackson from his 15. And plows ahead to the 35-yard line. 20-yard return, and Ricky Ray back to work. First half numbers 10 of 13. And 65 yards.
But S.J. Green not utilizing that first half. And late in the first half, a little bit of James Wilder Jr., but you heard the panel talk about the importance of getting their 2 offensive stars involved early here.
I think they missed DeVere Posey. I mean, he was the Grey Cup MVP, but a valuable guy throughout the season.
For sure, Chris, and this is a good start. Good yardage on first down, but, you know, I'll tell you, it can't be Milt Stegall if he's running a 5-flat 40 these days. Because
did they do that electronically or with a sundial?
I think they that was there's 4-5, 4-7, and forever. I hate to say it, but Milt, what happened?
The suit looked good though.
Oh, it did. It did. He had the form.
5 for Martese Jackson. 2nd and 5. Ray dumps it off, and Jimmy Ralph has a first down. There is a flag.
Interesting comment though to Matthew Shinetti from Ricky Ray there just before this half started. Let's see what the flag is. Looks like it might be in the Calgary secondary. But when he said we got to settle down and relax,
yeah.
It didn't
illegal
look like
contact. Calgary number 31, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Penalty was longer than the gain, so they'll take the penalty. But it didn't look like they were nervous in that first half. It just looked like a couple of miscues here and there, and give credit to the Calgary defense.
Strange to hear that too from a veteran group.
Yeah.
I mean, S.J. Green's been around for a long time. Ricky Ray, it's basically the starting offense from last year's Grey Cup champs. Declan Cross has the catch. Brandon Smith trying to hold him up. And the ball came out. Calgary arguing they last touched it, but it's Argo football around midfield.
Last week, Mark Trestman said to us that all through training camp, because they were Grey Cup champions, he was looking for entitlement. He was looking for any sort of sign that would show that they were sort of living off last year's Grey Cup win, and he couldn't find it at all. But that's gone away now because they lost week 1.
I love that comment because he said, I looked for it. I looked for lint and couldn't find it. 2nd down, Crosser caught. That's Tim's the catch. He's going to be a yard short of the first down.
Tempting here because it's right in that bubble area where it's a little long for a field goal.
Choice, do you?
Well, how short is it? I mean,
3rd and a yard, and
it is a full yard.
Out comes the big team. James Franklin. Well, James Franklin in relief last week. Very limited duty, but scored a touchdown on short yardage and threw for a touchdown in short yardage.
I'm going away from Micah Johnson.
Needs one here and didn't get much of a surge.
I don't know.
Didn't get much, and now they try and push him ahead. And unless they get a generous spot, it's going to be a turnover on downs, and Micah Johnson in the middle of it again. Had to reach the 49-yard line.
And no shot. Unless there's some second effort here and a reach. I'm not sure he did. The spot comes from here, this side.
And then again, unless the sticks were not properly placed on the sidelines. Now they're short. 3rd and 1, and a stop for the Calgary defense. And Micah Johnson in their ear, and he helps make the defensive play, and the chirping continues as they unpile. Well, he was red hot in the first half. 17 of 19.
Yeah, and not just, zoning into one guy. I mean, this was spreading the football around. Nice balance with a play calling with the run game and getting Dave Dickinson calling the balanced attack. But just using all his weapons, and the accuracy is there tonight.
241 yards, hands off to Jackson, and he gets caught in the backfield, taken down by Dylan Wynn, the second-year defensive tackle. Mark Trestman felt the strength of the team last week in Saskatchewan was the interior of that defensive line.
Leon Lang, Dylan Wynn in there. Watching his test scores and his measurables. And on the bench press, 225, which is pretty heavy if you ever tried to mess with 225. He did 43 reps.
I think he runs under 5.
Is he under a
40? Yep.
Is he under a 5 flat melt?
Here's Mitchell, gonna load it up, looking for Eric Rogers, and he brings it down.
Oh, did he keep it?
TJ Heath was there in coverage, Marcus Ball, but it's a catch for Rogers, and it's a 60-yarder.
Again, outside here, and this is that halftime interview with Eric Rogers was revealing, saying that not only is the knee that he got operated on not quite right yet, but the other one, because he's overcompensating, has been bothering him as well. So he's playing through that pain. Double coverage there, TJ Heath all over the top. I was wondering if he dropped it when he hit, but he didn't. Hung on.
Officially, they're calling it a 59-yarder. Bo hits 300 on the nose with that completion, but fumbled the snap from center and has to eat it back at the 10.
What happens inside the 20 to this Calgary football team? Last in the league last year. 1 for 5 in week 1 in the red zone. Now, Bo Levi Mitchell has fixed his accuracy issue from week 1, where he was 3 of 13 on deep balls. Way better tonight, almost at 90%. So mission accomplished there. Let's see if on second down they can fix the red zone issue.
Goes second and goal now from the 10. Lost 4. Stands in. Rogers, touchdown, and that was pitch and catch for Eric Rogers' second touchdown of the night.
I think the answer for Mitchell was just to imagine he was deeper. That was right at the back of the 20-yard end zone. So it's like take him out of there, the red zone, but you're going to see it right over the middle here. See that opening. That's what Bo Levi Mitchell saw, and so did Eric Rogers.
5 catches, 131 yards, and a pair of touchdowns for Eric Rogers, who may not be 100% according to that interview, but looks like he's ready to become a force again in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, if that's 70%, I'll take it.
Paredes adds the convert, and the Stampeders extend the lead after the turnover on downs, a 59-yarder, and then a 10-yard touchdown toss to Eric Rogers.
Boy, on that last play, Argo's electing to go to a zone defense on their own 10-yard line. Go ahead and run it, guys. I'll show you the zone. It's a 4 deep zone defense. So if you stop it right here, you see the 4 deep defenders, and Gabriel, who's number 3 in that picture, has got his back turned to the backside seam route from Eric Rogers. He can't open up and make a cut to that football. Shouldn't be beat deep in a 4 deep zone.
Jackson again, and he works his way through. Hurdles over Paredes and finally bumped out at midfield. So Martese Jackson trying to light a fuse to get Toronto back in the game.
He's had a couple of these now. They couldn't capitalize on the last one. Last time he did this, it was a field goal attempt at the end of the drive, and it was missed. So see if the Argos, who desperately need it now, can build off that little bit of momentum.
3 kick return touchdowns for Jackson last season.
Right there. Prepare for that live all week. Shut up.
First down, Argo 52. Ray hit as he delivered, and it falls incomplete, intended for S.J. Green. The 38-year-old said he was a little sore for a few days after the game against Saskatchewan. Took some big hits last week and is being forced to rush the football again here.
Wow, look at the difference in passing yards for these two quarterbacks.
Ricky Ray 2-6 as an Argo against the Stampeders in the regular season. Over the middle, that pass is dropped. Armani Edwards, first time targeted tonight, and Adam Berger was there, the replacement strong side linebacker, with the breakup.
Out of Simon Fraser University, 27-year-old Adam Berger in one-on-one on Armani Edwards. I told you might get some matchups either on Edwards or S.J. Green. Rose to the occasion there.
Double forward, 2 and out for the Argos. And the whistle sounds.
Call a timeout with their man short. Jermaine Gabriel came on late.
And another bad look for the Argos on a night that's gone sour.
Special teams coordinator Kevin Ivan could play the teams. What a great tackler he was as a player.
Terry Williams lets it bounce into the end zone. There is a flag. Williams slips on that slick carpet and now will take a knee. So we'll sort out the flag. Eric Rogers have shown us he is back, and we'll have more on him when we return. Doesn't have the same number as he did in 2015, but he might put up the same numbers as he did in 2015 based on the way he's playing tonight. With more on Eric Rogers, here's Matthew Shinetti.
CC and Suits, you often talk about how complicated this Stampeders offense is, and Bo Levi Mitchell reiterated that to us before the game. Because he said that because he's marveled at how Eric Rogers has come in and essentially picked up where he left off. Yes, some of the nuances are different. Some of the routes might be different. Some of the calls might be different. But Bo is saying that, yes, it's only going to be reps for Eric Rogers. All he needs is time. But he's seen immediately in the meeting room, in the film room, that Rogers is recognizing the things that he did in 2015. It's made it really hand to glove for him coming back. And Bo says, just watch him as the year goes on, guys.
Just watch him tonight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, saw the numbers from his big season where he led the CFL. He's having a big, big night tonight. Well over 100 yards already. He's had a long reception, over 50 yards tonight, which is longer than his longest in his big year.
By the way, penalty against Calgary on that return. The Argos take the penalty. And Calgary has the ball at the 5, so no single on the play. Long field for the Stamps. Here's Jackson finding room off the left side. Look out! Foot race! And a sprint between Gabriel and Jackson, and Gabriel stuck with him to bump him out inside the Toronto 35-yard line, but it's a 70-yard run ripped off by Don Jackson.
He's got another gear, and he just showed us that fourth gear. We haven't seen that burst when he gets to the spot, and another big block by Derek Dennis at left tackle. He seals the edge, and then that jump cut to the outside. There's the burst through the hole to get Jermaine Gabriel in a chase, and then didn't want to go out of bounds. I love that.
Argos were #1 against the run last year. Terry Williams slicing through.
They got a combination here. Calgary Stampeders. Don Jackson gets a breather on the bench, and Terry Williams gets a big block up front, and he says, "Oh, hey, I can take the rock when the guys up front are opening holes like this." Look at that. One-on-one there. Khalil Bass is in trouble. Too much space on either side of him.
17 for Williams. Another Stamp first down. Now Mitchell steps up. He throws and is complete at the 5. Beggleton the catch. Jordan the catch in front of Jermaine Gabriel.
When you're in a rhythm and it's just rolling for you, I bet both Henry Burris and Matt Dunnigan will tell you when you just feel like you can make any throw you want. This is a dangerous throw for Bo Levi Mitchell, but when you're throwing in the rhythm he's throwing in, the confidence he's throwing in tonight, just lets it go against the flow, back into the middle, into coverage, and got the completion.
Handed off back to Jackson. He started it. Unable to finish the drive here as he's brought down at the 1-yard line. Marcus Bohl was there. Last year, Bo Levi Mitchell's best passing game, 384, came against these Argos. 323 yards already tonight. A drive that started at the 5. Started with a 70-yard run by Don Jackson. Nick Arbuckle in, short yardage. Right side, flag down. Touchdown signal from Ben Major.
Offside defense. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Argos line up offside. 5 plays, 105 yards, and another Calgary touchdown.
Well, there's 1 foot right there. And there's 1 foot right there. That's why we didn't get a number. It was just...
And you heard the official say, we're lining it up on the 1. Back to the drawing board on the Toronto side. Nick Arbuckle has his first CFL touchdown. Quarterback at Georgia State. On the practice roster in 2016. Convert's good. And the lead extends. Boy, that Stampeders have put some big plays on the board in this game. This one from Jackson, a 70-yard romp that helps set up another Calgary score.
Thursday Night Football, presented by TELUS, June 28th at 7 p.m., featuring James Barker Band at halftime. Get your tickets today at Stampeders.com.
Well, week 2 has been a lopsided week, a 23-point win by Ottawa. We saw Winnipeg dominate in Montreal by 46. Hamilton in Edmonton last night won by 17, and here it's a 33-point lead for Calgary in Toronto's home opener. Martese Jackson tracked down about the 31-yard line.
Well, right when the Argos think they might grab some momentum, they had the Calgary Stampeders on their own 5-yard line to start that last drive, and Don Jackson got him out of the hole in 1 carry, a 70-yarder, and they take it the distance and finish with the touchdown. So a running game in that, but Bo Levi Mitchell with that throw over the middle got him down on the doorstep, and then it was finished off there at the 1-yard line. So big drive and a big lead. And now the question is, do the Argos consider a quarterback change?
Here's Ray, look out! Tracked down from behind, Jagarrett Davis, who didn't play last week, and he just might have answered the question for you, Suits.
Yeah, well, he, in that last break, I was thinking James Franklin is number 2. He's loosening up right now, and it might have to do it anyway. But, you can have an ace pitcher in baseball that just doesn't have his stuff, and you go to the bullpen, or a great all-star goaltender in hockey, and he's just not seeing the puck, and you go and make a change. And I know Mark Trestman is very sensitive about his Hall of Fame quarterback. But I was going to suggest, healthy or not, that maybe it's time to put James Franklin out there as a changeup and see if he can't run around and create something. But it looks like it's going to happen due to injury anyway.
Decision made. You saw Davis tracking down Ray, and the momentum of the takedown into Micah Johnson, and it looked like Ray might have been dazed as took the brunt of the tackle on the helmet.
In the offseason, every team it makes calls and the coaches get on with the general managers and the media gets a chance to ask questions. And one of the questions to Mark Trestman was, with James Franklin acquired, could we see him early in the season? And Mark Trestman's response to the question was basically, that's disrespectful to our quarterback. So I'm not going to go down that road. So he's very sensitive to that, but
it's looking a little more serious than we first thought, as now Mark Trestman comes out and keeping that.
Yeah, they're now
being very careful to move him.
Now they're stabilizing the head.
Again, Davis with the tackle, but the momentum of that play took him into the legs of another Calgary defender, and that's where I think the injury occurred.
Well, and usually they do this for precautionary reasons, just to make sure if there's any question or doubt at all. But he went into Cordero Law, and that's when the.
And it was Law, and you see him immediately reach for his helmet. And so the cart is brought on. And obvious concern on the field. And the good sign is he has been moving his legs and arms.
Yeah, legs, arms, and hands moving. You see him making a fist there as well. That's good. Good sign.
Head athletic therapist is Scott Shannon. Mentioned some similarities to the opening game at BMO a couple of years back, and a lopsided loss against Hamilton. And in that game, Jermaine Gabriel, at a similar situation, was carted off the field. John Schul is the assistant athletic therapist, and the entire staff out to move Ray onto the cart. And it is a brotherhood, and there's as much concern on the opposing side as there is right now with his teammates, as everybody.
Well, nothing illegal about the hit or anything like that. Just unfortunate the way that Jagarrett Davis from behind made the tackle, and he went into his teammate Cordero Law. No one feels worse right now to see Ricky Ray not getting up than Jagarrett Davis, but nothing illegal about the play in any way. But you're right, this is the one time in a football game where the two teams come together.
Ricky Ray's had knee and shoulder injuries. I don't remember any situation that quite compares to this for him, and the obvious concern on the face of Bo Levi Mitchell as well.
Standing by, ready to go.
Rod, let's send it to you guys for your thoughts.
Thank you, CC. Very much like yours, I'm sure. And just listening to what Glenn was saying right before that play, not that it matters at this point, of course, and outlining Mark Trestman's philosophy on wanting his quarterbacks to keep playing on. I mean, regardless of any circumstance of any player, Henry, you know, just very difficult sight to see, and obviously hoping the very best here as we wait for him to be taken off the field.
You're definitely right about that, Rod. I mean, this night's already been a disappointment for Toronto, not only the team, but for the fans here who are expecting, you know, a great performance from their team. And now to have their leader, Ricky Ray, you know, to see this happen. I mean, this is one of the things that we never welcome in the game. You never want to see it happen to any player, regardless of how much trash talking might occur. Right. The competition that's out there, the revenge factor. You never want to see a guy getting hurt. We only want to be like kids still in the backyard playing the game that we love. This is definitely a sight that we never enjoy seeing during the game.
Yeah, this is a part of football that, I mean, you hate to say it, but it is part of football. You know, injuries are going to happen. You just hope that it's nothing serious. You just hope that they have that out there for precautionary reasons. You know, Ricky Ray, I mean, anyone who knows him knows how great of a guy he is and what he's meant for this league, for this team, for everyone involved. So we're just all praying and hoping the best for him, because you never want to see anything like this happen to anyone.
And a CFL fan watching this, yeah, I know your hearts are saddened like ours. And, you know, this is a young man that, four-time Grey Cup champion, most of all time. Just if you've talked and had a chance to rub shoulders with him, you know how approachable and real he is. And I'm standing outside BMO Field today, waiting for the rain to stop, and Ricky Ray walks out off the GO train and walks into the stadium and just part of the crowd. And that's the beauty of this league. And I know your hearts are saddened when you see this picture that we're showing you, but trust me, as a family, we will all send our thoughts and prayers that this is not serious and that he'll be fine, get back on that GO train, going back home.
Exactly.
Safe and sound.
Well, just for everybody to remember, I know it's taken a while for this to all transpire, but just remember, this is all part of the concussion protocol. They must go through these steps just in case.
Right,
so just
right.
as we mentioned, keep them in your prayers, because, you know, we hope for the best for Ricky. But again, this is concussion protocol.
They
have to make sure they, yeah, definitely.
The game has come a long way in the right direction, you know, and player safety and health first and foremost, and it's always precautionary, and they always go overboard as opposed to when it was like when I was playing. So it's such a good thing to see them taking these precautionary methods.
Oh yeah, you have to be smart. You know, we're talking about, you're dealing with, we're not talking about a knee, we're not talking about a shoulder, we're not talking about an ankle, we're talking about possibly, you know, the brain or the neck or whatever it may be, something that's very, very serious. So
yeah.
you have to do what's best for the individual involved, and that's Ricky Ray. And like I said before, let's hope this is just for precautionary reasons. There's no need for concern, but, you know, they're definitely doing the right thing, and you have to commend them on that.
It's been several minutes now since he was taken down, sacked by Jagarrett Davis and into Cordero Law. And you do see this all the time, and quite understandably so. They are opponents on the field, but all together now and sharing in the concern for a fellow player, Ricky Ray, as they have the stretcher out now and being understandably very careful in getting him off the field. Yeah, seeing the emotions on the faces of not just teammates, of course, but you saw Jagarrett Davis earlier too involved in that play, and from the Stampeders as well.
Yeah, you can definitely see the worry on the players' faces. I mean, these players all love each other, and, you know, we've all been through the same things. We've all had injuries. We've had comrades who've all went down, teammates who went down to situations like this. But it's just great to see the way, like Matt mentioned, the way the medical advancements and all have came along the way protocol and assessments have came along throughout the entire journey of football. I know I've seen it change throughout my 20-year career, but the fact that now, you know, they're making sure they take all the precautionary steps just to make sure that if there is anything wrong, that they make sure that they don't create a further problem just by trying to transport him, you know, to the nearest hospital to make sure he undergoes the proper exams and tests to get the results back as soon as possible.
You talk about players being concerned. Football is a fraternity, and of course, you know, players are trying to win against opposing teams, but once you see something like this, you see how the players come together, how everyone come together, and they understand. Like, let's put things in perspective and realize that we have one of our fraternity members who's possibly injured. Let's make sure we're doing the right thing for this individual.
And I tell you one thing that's tough right now, his wife, his 2 daughters, you know, just know that, you know, this medical team will be working hard. It's the families that struggle now when they see times like this. But they just know in their hearts and souls and minds that people have Ricky in their prayers and that he's going to receive the best medical attention to make sure that hopefully there's not an issue.
Right.
Hopefully this is all precautionary.
Right.
But we're going to keep Ricky Ray in our prayers, and we're asking you to do so at home.
Medical staff now with him on the stretcher and to be taken off. Heard cheers from the fans here at BMO Field and from the Argos and the Stampeders in recognition of Ricky Ray, the veteran quarterback, on a play now several minutes ago, sacked and stayed down on the field. As we wait to get a game resumed that you couldn't blame either side for not having as much heart in it right now. The scoreboard showing 34-1 for Calgary. The scoreboard, despite being so lopsided, doesn't even have a feeling like it matters all that much right now. There's a far greater concern for both sides.
See him move his eyes around.
And you hate to bring this up, but once play resumes, it's difficult as a player to go back out there, you know, because you're thinking about this. You know, it's very difficult.
I was going to ask you guys, having played the game, and it was the type of question asking for a much different reason last week in Winnipeg when we were talking about lightning delays and summoning your focus again after an hour and 20 minutes and an unscheduled delay in a game. And under these circumstances, far more serious for a teammate, even an opponent. It doesn't matter. I mean, how difficult you've all been through it. There's still, you know, well over a quarter of football to play. How difficult is it to summon that up again?
You know, you're shook as an individual. You know, once you see that, just to be honest, you know, you're a little cautious about going out there and making a play, you know, because that when you see something like that, it's scary. It's scary. You know, my mother, I started playing football when I was 4 years old. My mother did not see me play until my senior year in college, just because she thought I would get injured. So, I mean, it's part of football, but after seeing that and trying to go back out there and play again, you know, I'm hoping the best for their players, but from a mental aspect, it can be a little bit difficult.
You look at James Franklin put in a tough spot here. He's been brought over, off-season acquisition that many people thought was one of the best moves that Toronto could make for insurance purposes, and as a backup quarterback, you always have to be ready. But I don't know if you're ever ready for a situation like this, to go out there and try to gather your team and get them refocused in a 34-1 deficit, and your starting quarterback, a guy who's meant so much to the Canadian Football League, is going off the field. My heart goes out to that kid, too, for trying to muster up the competitive instincts to go out there and do what's necessary right now.
Argo fans applauding, but regardless, not of any fan in football and appreciation for Ricky Ray. Moving his fingers now, just completely immobilized after the hit that he took, and down for several minutes as they do bring him off the field now, heading towards our location here in the northwest part of BMO Field. Veteran quarterback Ricky Ray as the appreciation and the concern continues for him in the third quarter of this football game. Back up to Chris and Glenn, CC.
Okay, Rod, back to the game. James Franklin is in, as you mentioned. And it will be tough, as the guys have outlined, for everybody to continue on. And
we'll try.
Number one, our best wishes for this to not be as serious as it looks. And
I think the guys are right. I mean, often this is for precautionary measures, and make sure that they do everything they can to stabilize them. We'll try and get as many updates as we can throughout the rest of this game.
Saw him moving his hands, his legs, and
it's amazing to me how many times it just doesn't look like that big a hit. It's just how it can be an awkward position, and he was tackled from behind, and then just an awkward position on the hit from Jagarrett Davis from behind to run into his own player. But we'll try and update you as quickly as we can on Ricky Ray's condition, and James Franklin will take over from here.
So when Ricky was put on the cart, the first guy over to pat him was Jagarrett Davis. A completion here to Armonte Edwards. Well, obviously not the circumstances that anybody wanted to see James Franklin get thrown in here, but interesting to see what he can do in this offense after being acquired in the offseason. The guy that everybody believes is one of the next wave of good young quarterbacks in the league. Will be getting a report from Matthew Shinetti momentarily. The first Franklin unloading, and that pass knocked down by Roberson, intended for S.J. Green. Let's go to the sidelines. Here's Matthew.
Guys, I'm just in the loading dock here at BMO Field right now. They're waiting transportation for Ricky Ray, but the Argos medical staff is still evaluating him, still looking at his hamstring, still looking at his toes. Ray is moving his extremities, and Scott Shannon, one of the head of the medical department, is also speaking to Dr. Michael Clarefield, and they're just assessing Ray, but so far they're just waiting for transportation out of BMO Field, guys.
Matthew will have updates as warranted. Second down, Franklin. He's got S.J. Green. Green can't hang on. And the punt team will come on for Toronto. Rod?
Yeah, when Ricky was being taken off the field right by our area here, I unplugged and I leaned over the railing and I yelled to him. I said, Ricky, I said, we're all praying for you. And he looked right in the eye, and he raised his hand and waved to me. And I just thought that was the best thing that could happen is moving his hand. So I think that's just important to understand.
Good sign. Here's Terry Williams. And Williams is going to run away from everybody. Terry Williams, touchdown Calgary. 101 yards for Terry Williams, and another Calgary touchdown.
Now both teams trying to sort of get back to game speed. Terry Williams does, and this is a great return, using his speed, starts up the middle and then breaks it wide, and he's winning that foot race.
Well, Dave Dickinson didn't think they had a great special teams opener. It's been a different story here tonight on all three phases. Convert from Paredes. And Calgary into the 40s now, 41-1.
One of the questions in Calgary coming into the season was who was going to replace Roy Finch in the return game. best returner in the CFL last year, had off-field issues in the offseason, did not return to Calgary. So, you know, one of the question was who would carry the load there in the return game. Well, maybe they can work in tandem here. A little Terry Williams, maybe a little Don Jackson.
And his ability on special teams might have been one of the deciding factors in him not winning the starting running back job. More as a special teams first guy and able to spell Don Jackson. So into the final minute of the third quarter. And Ortiz Jackson got crossed up with Levi Noel. And he's going to be dropped inside the 15-yard line. Charlie Power down first.
Skyscraper, starring Dwayne Johnson, in theaters July 13th.
So the second series for James Franklin had an Argo down on the play, and both teams played down the Grey Cup rematch element of this night. And for the Argos, last November really seems like a long time ago now.
Yeah, and it does. I mean, goes without saying that tonight has been a tough one. No home opener for this football team, but it's early in the season, and James Franklin gets a whole quarter here to, I know you don't want to see it this way, gets a whole quarter to get the keys to this offense and see what he can do.
Injured Argo was Alex Charette, making his way to the sidelines.
Again, the way it's gone, I'm not suggesting that the Argos are climbing this mountain. I'm suggesting that the reps for James Franklin get a chance to play here. Important for him.
Interesting to see if we'll see McLeod, Bethel, Thompson as well. Number 3 on the depth chart, although Mark Trestman said it was basically a toss-up between those two who continue to battle for the backup job. Franklin gets listed second as the short yardage man, but a chance to maybe consolidate that position on the depth chart.
You can see McLeod, Bethel, Thompson there just listening to the play calls from Mark Trestman in his headset, and then visualizing how he's going to try and execute the play. I mean, this is what they do when they're not in there.
Final play of the quarter, they screen it to Wilder. Gets brought down around the 23-yard line. Tackle on the play by Derek Wigan on the final play of the third quarter. 41-1 Stamps.
End of the quarter, Tommy, end of the quarter.
Had the Argos won tonight, it would have been the first time in league history that 8 teams had wins after week 2. That's not going to happen.
No, it's not. And, you know, I guess now the question is, how long does Will Levi Mitchell play in this fourth quarter? James Franklin will get reps. But, again, I want to echo what the panel said, and what we've thought up here is that we wish the best for Ricky Ray. I'm going to choose to think positively. I think we all should, that it was precautionary. And as Matty said, he was moving his hands. We'll try and get updates on Ricky Ray's condition from Matthew Shinetti when they're available.
Every situation is different. I did mention Jermaine Gabriel. We were all concerned a couple of years ago for him. He's returned to action in the game now. And as you mentioned, and it looks like Nick Arbuckle might be coming in. Does a play like that impact Dave Dickinson's decision on when to turn to his backup tonight? Franklin slings it out. He's got Brian Timms in the flat. And Timms out at the 35. Down.
It's a great discussion, Chris, because I'm quite often really surprised that coaches hold on. I know it's the CFL, and in the CFL you can score quickly. I've seen inside of 2 minutes, three majors scored by a team. So I think sometimes coaches are a little concerned of that miraculous comeback, but I see quite often a starter staying out there in these blowouts for way longer than it feels comfortable to do so.
I thought in this case the argument might be they're still scuffling on offense, and let's give him time to get reps to get this offense going. But right now they have no answers for this swarming Calgary defense. Garrett Davis in the middle of it again.
And I want to be clear too, because I wasn't suggesting that Mark Trestman left Ray out there too long. That's not what I was suggesting. But you know, in games like this, when we're talking about the decision Dave Dickinson has now to decide whether or not, you know, he goes back to Bo Levi Mitchell, and it doesn't look like he's going to. You know, we have at times seen
block, Toronto number 32. That penalty is declined. Second down.
You know, at times we've seen that starter stay in there for most of the game, but it looks like that Dave will make a change as well, Dave Dickinson, and looks like that might be it for Bo Levi Mitchell, who was red hot tonight. I'm not sure if the Argos played with 13 or 14 men, it wouldn't have made a difference against the way Bo Levi Mitchell played tonight.
Adam Berger making his way to the sideline, shaken up. And if Bo's night's finished 20 of 22, 91%.
Wow.
Coming off the worst single game percentage of his career at 47.2. He almost doubled it tonight. Second and long. Franklin shows some mobility. A flag comes down. There'll be another flag there, you think, as Thurman took down Wilder. No flag on that, and Wilder is upset. And from this vantage point, it looked like he had a case. An initial call.
Toronto number 57. That penalty be declined. Third down.
Holding call against Tyler Holmes. Let's take a look at the end of the play and see if Wilder had a case.
Yep. Yeah, he did. And Trestman had used his challenge flag, couldn't do it there.
We talk about in game film afterwards, players getting X's or check marks. There was an X for the official, but it's academic. Nick Arbuckle coming in when we return. The new Stampeder backup. The most incredible season yet as everyday heroes take on the race. The Amazing Race Canada Heroes Edition. New season Tuesdays at 8, 9 Mountain, starting July 3rd on CTV. No, Milt's not in the race. So let's see what kind of game Nick Arbuckle has. Hands it off to Terry Williams inside. Mention Arbuckle of Georgia State. Second year now with Calgary.
Interesting story. All Sun Belt Conference. He broke a ton of records in that conference, Georgia State, but only 2 years there. He started a junior college in California and really turned the program around. One of those deals where you start out with a sort of a one-win season. Your quarterback has changed. Arbuckle came in, changed it around. They win championships, and then he went to Georgia State, did the same thing.
28 touchdowns in those 2 seasons. Passing for Arbuckle, and he gets wrapped up. Cleon Lang will fire him to the turf. Second sack of the season for Cleon Lang.
When you're on the wrong end of a score like this, even when you make a play, it's not quite as fun. You make a play and it's a good play, and Cleon Lang makes a good play, but you even feel weird celebrating it. I mean, he kind of stepped over him, but you feel weird celebrating it when you're on the wrong end of a score like this.
Maver with the kick. Outside the numbers for Martese Jackson. Back inside, and he gets drilled. Helmet popped off. Tackle on the play. Made by Tunde Adeleke.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put myself on the list of football fans in this country that are excited about the future of James Franklin when he has had his limited times playing, whether it was in Edmonton the last few years or here in the preseason with Toronto. He's shown that he has the potential to be, like you said earlier, Chris, just one of those sort of future next great quarterbacks in the league.
One of the next guys.
Yeah.
Came into the season, 13 touchdown passes, 1 interception in limited duty in the Canadian Football League.
Like we saw from Chris Streveler last night in just his second start for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, it's a guy who immediately gets on the field and looks like he fits in, it's not bigger than he can handle.
And as you well know, that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
Second and short. Again, they have contained James Wilder Jr. in this game. 9th carry for him.
You know, it doesn't happen very often, and not only that, in fact, it doesn't happen with Heisman Trophy winners or guys with huge college resumes from some of the biggest schools in the U.S. It's still a huge step, and it doesn't happen very often. So when you get these guys, people are excited to see him.
3rd and 2, they convert. S.J. Green's got the catch. Brought down by Malik Harris, so one of the number 2s in on the Calgary defense. You saw Riley Jones at middle linebacker for Alex Singleton, and Malik Harris now at middle linebacker with the tackle.
Yeah, I don't think for a second this score, or really any of the scores we saw this weekend, are a real reflection of the teams on the wrong side of them. Sometimes these things get snowballing on you, and you just can't stop the snowball from rolling downhill. I mean, and it trickles through the whole team. You saw special team errors, offensive errors, defensive errors, busts.
I don't remember the last time we had a week like this, where all 4 games for the most part. Last night, Hamilton-Edmonton game a little bit different. Wilder with a run there, and now has 60 on the ground on 10 carries tonight.
9.5, 9.5. Let's go, team! Let's go, defense!
Through 8 games. After this, it'll be 4 wins for the home team, 4 for the road. Franklin underneath. There's Timms on the crosser. Ball comes loose. And it's still on the carpet. I think the Argos get it back.
Second down! Second down!
Looked like Troy Studemeyer should have had it for Calgary. One of the big old linemen, though, got back on it. I think it was Brandon Washington.
Crossing route underneath to Timms. Who made the big hit? It was from behind. Looked like it was Derek Wiggin, yeah.
Studemeyer thought he had it, and Brandon Washington got back on it. Turns out to be a loss of 2. About 1.5 yards. We'll call it 2nd and 11. Argos have a bye.
Probably a good time.
Yes. Don't often say that this early in the year. Completion to Wilder over the middle, but they do have a bye before Edmonton is here next.
Be 0-2, and you know, this is not a an indictment on the starting receiving core, but they may be missing one guy there. They're may have to start looking at some young legs to get that stretch guy that can open up some room for guys like S.J. Green and Armonte Edwards.
3rd down once again. Franklin this time will get it. Good surge off the left side. Behind Tyler Holmes that time.
Are you all right?
But some work to be done through the bye week for Mark Trestman.
Looking for their first touchdown of the night. Didn't score until the fourth quarter last week against Saskatchewan. This, the team with the second most yards production last year in the league. First down. Franklin rolls out. Anybody open? He'll throw it away. Closest man to it, Brian Timms, well covered in the end zone.
That's the other element that James Franklin brings to the table, is to be able to extend plays. He can move around. He throws well from the pocket. I mean, that's where he's most comfortable, but he can get outside and throw on the run as well as anyone.
Short week coming up for Calgary. They get ready for a home and home against the Ottawa Redblacks. Franklin over the middle, complete. Armonte Edwards, who's had a quiet night, makes his second catch, targeted just 3 times. And Devon Claybrook's going to play this for the full 60 minutes on the sidelines.
Making sure those guys keep with their P's and Q's when they're out there, and making sure that taking care of their responsibilities. He doesn't like to see any drive against his defense.
10th play of the drive for the Argos. Micah Johnson's back in the middle of that defensive line, looking for a stop. 3rd and 4. Franklin takes off. Got a block. Touchdown.
Strong.
Well, the fans have hung in here tonight, and they have finally something to cheer about.
It was a good crowd. The Argos really didn't give them a good show, but this is something to cheer about. And how about how big and strong James Franklin is? I mean, he just stepped in and destroyed Stoudemire there. And ten-play drive, 66 yards in over 6 minutes.
And so Franklin has his second touchdown of the season.
You hate to put an asterisk beside it, but of course the Calgary defense will be playing differently up 41-1 when this drive began.
So now they'll go for 2. Declan Cross off in a target. They go to S.J. Green, incomplete. And it's 41-7, just under 5.5 minutes to go as James Franklin engineers the Argos' first touchdown march of the night. MLS on TSN continues tomorrow as New York City FC faces off against Toronto FC. Catch it at 5 Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on TSN 4 and 5. A touchdown drive engineered by James Franklin. See if the Argos short kick here. Ronnie Petrel kick it away. Taken by Bagleton, and Reggie Bagleton up to the 35. Gets dragged down by Matt Webster. We'll have an update on Ricky Ray from Matthew Shinetti when we come back. Well, Mark Trestman concerned about the score. Probably more about his starting quarterback with more. Here's Matthew.
Chris, what we're hearing initially is a neck injury for Ricky Ray. He will be transported to Toronto Western Hospital, and according to the club, it's quote it's just for purely evaluation right now. So again, he's just being assessed, and he will be transported to Toronto Western Hospital, guys.
Try and keep you updated on SportsCenter on the status of Ricky Ray as Terry Williams is cheesed out of bounds. Nick Arbuckle is in at quarterback for Calgary now in the final 5 minutes and change. 184 rushing yards for Calgary tonight. First and 10, Arbuckle's first throw into the flat and complete. Arbuckle's the catch. Well, since 1960, here are the teams that have lost back-to-back. And the two Hamilton teams highlighted because on the third try, they came back to win. And that's what Calgary's goal will be in 2018.
A lot of football to be played in the meantime to get there and get back there to the game. But boy, they looked impressive. That guy was unbelievable at the beginning. And I got a little intel, Chris. You know, Dave Dickinson is one of those coaches because he's played, not only played the game of football, obviously to coach at this level, you've had to have played and gone through the ranks of either coaching or playing, and yet he's played in the game in the CFL, and you can't put anything by him. So after game one, he's watching the film, and he saw receivers in game one. We talked about Bo Levi Mitchell's completion percentage being down. He saw some receivers that weren't quite running hard enough, that were running their routes a little bit lazy, coming out of breaks, and then not getting the ball and kind of waving their hands a little bit. And he dressed down the receiving corps. He went into the meeting and basically told the guys, not acceptable. You'll run full speed every play. I'm watching. None of it goes without, you know, you're going to be on tape, good or bad. He'll keep on top of this team, and that's why they're so successful in our year after year. John Huffdingle's the same way when he was on the sideline. Now Huffdingle's in charge of getting Dave the players, and Dickinson takes it from there. But great game plan coming in. His play calling superb tonight, but he'll stay on you. If you run a route in a lazy way, it won't be acceptable.
Inside handoff to Terry Williams. That didn't go very far. Richardson Danny with the previous catch. One of 9 receivers who have caught passes for Calgary tonight as we hit the 3-minute warning. The Nissan Titan Player of the Game is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Well, it wasn't a CFL record, but it was very close. By the way, the CFL record for completion percentage held by Ricky Ray, who missed just one pass in a game. But it was close at 91% for Bo Levi Mitchell, coming off that game where his accuracy was an issue last week, but not tonight. Our player of the game is Bo Levi Mitchell, and that was a no-brainer.
So he's 10-0 against Hamilton regular season, moves to 9-0 against the Argos. His record 58-10-2. He's upped his winning percentage to .843.
It's
in his 7 years in the CFL.
It's remarkable. It really is. I mean, you take a look at his win-loss record against the Eastern Division: 27 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties. He's only lost 3 games in just over 6 years to the Eastern Division.
There's Tavares Daniels, that guy who really set the tone early among those receivers.
Now, there are some people I know watching saying, hey, it's about Grey Cup rings. And the last 2 Grey Cup winning teams have been teams from the East. And Bo Levi Mitchell wants to change that, and that's the goal this year for Calgary.
Nick Arbuckle's got the Stampeders rolling here. First down at the Argo 16. See Arbuckle in the red zone. Hands it off to Terry Williams, and he's upended by Alton Darby.
So Dickinson's 36-2. Let's take a look at the Calgary Stampeders when they go on the road, because that's when it's supposed to be really tough. It's supposed to be,
you're 500, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
on the road.
You win at home, you're 500 on the road, you're a playoff team that takes a run in the playoffs. Look at that road record for the Calgary Stampeders since 2010.
This will be the 50th win, and the 6th consecutive in Toronto in regular season play. Oh, Arbuckle finds the handle, throws it in the end zone, incomplete. Kamar Jordan separated from the football. There was a flag on the play.
That was a play fake by Arbuckle to nobody.
Offside. Toronto number 26. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That kind of night for Toronto.
Cassius Vaughn called offside. And it looked like Abdul Kenem with the separator there to prevent the touchdown. But now 2nd and 1. Terry Williams again, and he's got a first down inside the 5. After that carry, over 200 rushing yards for Dave Dickinson's crew. 551 net yards on the night. Williams again, stopped up at the line this time. It'll be 2nd and goal. Take a look at week 3. Well, we hope the games will be closer. That Red-Black Stampeder game will be interesting.
Yeah, good.
And the Blue Bombers Ticats, both coming off big wins. Live Mike game on Friday in Hamilton.
Oh, Chris Strevler for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Boy, that team was ranked, I would say, by most people across the country in the top 3. And then Matt Nichols got hurt, and everyone was saying that drops them down to 7, 8, 9 in the bottom 3. And with the performance of Strevler, and now I know Montreal's struggling, and it was against Montreal, but boy, he looks very good all of a sudden, and he's trending in the right direction. That's a good football team around him.
Yep. And I'd say Jeremiah Masoli is as good a story right now in the CFL as anybody.
Good for him. With a quarterback with more pressure on him probably than any starter in the league, and Jeremiah Masoli is just like water off a duck's back, just saying, no problem. I'm just going to beat Jeremiah Masoli.
Arrows on the clock, and it was never in doubt. Calgary Stampeders putting a little distance behind that Grey Cup loss with a convincing 41-7 victory here. Congratulations from Mark Tressman. Our concerns and hopes that the Ricky Ray injury is not serious. 41-7. Calgary wins it. Let's go to SportsCenter with Laura Dykin and Derek Taylor.